Hello, and welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. This weekend, I attended a recreational vehicle show at the Del Mar Fairgrounds in San Diego County, and I tell you, they had some of everything there. I was told they had approximately 250 or more vehicles. But I'm telling you, those prices were out of sight. They had Class B vans there that had a regular retail price over $200,000. Some were marked down a bit, but still way beyond my pocketbook. I'm going to show you a couple of Class Bs, and one I think is a Class B plus. But honestly, I've seen so many DIY builds for a fraction of the price that I liked a lot better and I thought were a much better value. But you let me know. Also, I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites, which were in the Class C category, and I thought were a much better buy. At least one of them was. And then I'm going to show you the most expensive vehicle that was at the show that I saw. Let me know if you had any favorites, and also if you think that they were worth the prices that were being asked. And stay tuned at the end, because I'm going to tell you what I think about what I saw compared to how I think about my minivan, and whether I would rather have one of those or my minivan, and I'll tell you why. So come on, let's check them out, shall we? The first vehicle is a Class B at right around $100,000. It has 4 seat-belted seats. It has a table between the seats and also a television up front. It's a pretty standard layout with the stove and kitchen on the left side, on the passenger side that is, and the bathroom behind the driver's seat. Going back to the rest of the unit, there's a Murphy bed that pulls down and also some storage behind. The bathroom is a pretty standard wet bath, which means you have the toilet and shower in the same area. The next vehicle I'm showing you is a Class B, also at around $100,000. It just has a little bit of a different layout. And what I like about this is that it's more open, and it doesn't have the 4 seats though, and I would have liked that. With the bathroom and back, you have a more spacious feel in the living area, and I would probably set the beds up like as day beds so you would have a seating area. The last Class B that I'm going to show you is what I think they call an extended or a Class B plus. Now, one of the nice things that it had was it had a pull-out kitchen. Now, I'm not sure if you could access this kitchen from the inside. I didn't really examine that closely, but it does have the banquette with a table in between, so that was a nice feature. And then it also has seat belts, so you can carry passengers that are seat belted in. Even with the seated area up front, I still felt a little bit cramped, and it was kind of a tight fit in there. And I thought $134,000, really $135,000 was pretty high for this, and it was normally $248,000. Now, it did have a decent sized refrigerator, and it also has a freezer, but it doesn't have a separate door for the freezer. The freezer was a little bit small, I thought, but it probably would be adequate. Going back into the sleeping area, you have a pretty good sized bed, and it looks like there's a vent for heating, and also there's air conditioner above. The bathroom is a standard wet bath with shower and toilet together. For $135,000 though, I would have liked to have had a separate shower. One of my 2 favorite rigs of the entire show was actually the least expensive that I saw there at $80,000. Although I don't have $80,000 to spend on a rig, if I did, I think I'd be much more willing to pay it for this Class C than I would for one of the Class Bs that I showed you. As you step up into this rig, you have a dinette area that I'm pretty sure probably converts into a bed, as well as the kitchen on the left and some cabinets on the right. It's a pretty spacious area for dining, cabinets above, and then the typical Class C bed over the cab with a television. There was a 2-burner, probably propane stove, microwave, as well as drawers and storage beneath. Across from the kitchen, there was also storage, and pretty ample storage. In the bedroom, there appears to be a queen-size bed, as well as hanging storage, as well as drawers beneath. I really liked that there was a separate shower from the toilet, and it wasn't a wet bath. It's interesting that this rig is over $50,000 less than the Class B that had a wet bath. Overall, I thought it was the best value for the money that I saw at the show. My next favorite rig at the show is what they referred to as a Super Class C, or a Class C Plus, I guess you could call it. And it did have slide outs. I really, really like this, but it's so big. Can you imagine trying to park this puppy? As you look around the outside of this rig, there was really a lot of storage. There was room in the back storage area for probably a picnic table, umbrella, chairs, and a lot of the things that you would need camping. And it went all the way across the entire length of the rig. There did appear to be other storage sections in addition to the water and other equipment, but those sections were locked. As you step into this rig, it really is quite spacious. You have, of course, the over-cab bed, and I like that there was a window above that bed, and that was really a nice feature, I thought. The only thing I didn't like is I didn't see any seat belts on the dinette. I didn't get why they had all of this sleeping space and seating area, but no seat belts. So how are you supposed to transport passengers? But then again, maybe they're concealed and I missed them. I don't know. But looking back, you had these lovely club chairs. But again, I didn't see any seat belts. So I would be traveling with people, not just stopping and having them come sit in my rig. But anyhow, like I said, I could have missed them. I really liked that this had a 3-burner stove and an oven, so you could do some serious cooking in here. Also, it had 2 sinks and a microwave. The price on this, $129.99, so $130 compared to the $135 for the Class B. It had a nice size refrigerator and also a separate door for the freezer, which I prefer. And the freezer was also a pretty decent size. I guess it depends on how you're going to use it. If you're trying to get in tight spaces, it would be easier to be in a Class B. I do like that fireplace though. And then you have the TV over the fireplace so you can sit in the club seats and watch TV with the ambience of the fireplace. I thought this was really well done. Moving back into the back area, you have a sink outside of the bathroom, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. And then you have what looks to be a queen-size bed. I like that there was a window on either side so you could have a lot of light in there if you wanted. Also, there was a closet. I didn't open it, but it's pretty clear that there was a closet. And it looks to be a pretty full-size closet there. Then there's also nightstands on either side with what looks to be charging stations. So that was pretty convenient. There was also a closet that was next to the sink that was in the hallway, so you could keep linens in there. The last rig I'm going to show you is the most expensive rig I saw at the show. Now, I didn't see all of them, but is this a doozy or what? And see if you can guess what the price is before I tell you. Look at these tires, and it is, you know, it is got a lift, a serious lift on this. But as I stood next to those tires, they came almost up to my waist. That's how big they were. Then you've got storage in back here. Not a lot considering how big this thing is, but you got storage there. Given how high up it is off the ground, you've got good steps here too. So some of the rigs, the steps were really high, and I had a hard time even stepping on the steps. But this one, the steps come down where you can get up comfortably. It has 4 seats in the cab section, 2 in front, 2 in back. And can you guess how much it is? Just try before I show you real quick guessing. All right, I'll show you. The sales price. When I looked at it, I thought at first, wow, what a great deal, $49,000. Then I looked and I realized, okay, it's got a few more numbers than I thought. That's right, $498,889. Holy Toledo. It is a 4x4, but still. And that is the sales price. I'll tell you what the list price is in a few minutes. One thing I didn't like was that it did not have handles on the inside for you to hold on to as you're climbing down. But I guess there's not too many 72-year-olders who will be buying this rig. The over cab bed is accessed by a provided ladder, and there's a small door between the cab section and living area. There is a small, typical van size wet bath. I did really like the under cabinet lighting. I thought that was a pretty cool feature. And the large banquette that I'm sure turns into a bed. That was very nice. There is storage, but it's not that big considering the price of this vehicle. But like I told you I would at the beginning, I'm going to let you know what the original price was. $698,000. Yes, that's right. But anyhow, for that price, you get a, nice size refrigerator. Not too big, but okay. And I did like the freezer. It was a separate door, which I like. As far as the kitchen area, there is a sink, of course. And it's kind of a small countertop, but a decent sized sink. And a little bit of cutting space for foods and veggies. And then an induction stove top. Well, as I told you at the beginning of this video, I'm going to let you know whether I would pay the prices for those vehicles or whether I prefer my minivan. I have to say, even not being able to stand up, as challenging as that can be sometimes, I think for the money, my minivan is just hands down a much better value. I have a portable toilet. I even have a little shower in back. I have a way to cook, a refrigerator, a bed, and literally a fraction, and I do mean a fraction of the cost. But the other things that I think make me choose my minivan are I just like getting a value for the money. And I think when you're paying $100,000, $150,000, that's like prices for a tiny house. I mean, I can get even a tiny house for less than that. I just think for the money, for being stealth when I want to go places, and I don't want people to know I'm sleeping in my vehicle, or even getting into tight spots like going up the mountain that I was going up when I was going into the Smoky Mountain National Park, or going different places. I can't get some of those large vehicles, especially that huge one at the end. And then the gas mileage. Even if I was very wealthy, I still believe in getting the best value for my money. I don't burn money, or I wouldn't burn money if I was rich. I still would want value for the money. And for the value, I have to say, I think my minivan has got all of those rigs beat. But let me know what you think in the comments. Till next time, may your journeys be filled with joy and blessings, and I'll see you down the road.